I like to do penis, usually. I should have said that before I started the recording. Anyway, here we go.
Is gonna start this thing. Hey everyone, this is usually where you hear an ad, but we're not putting ads on this episode because unfortunately, due to technical issues, some audio got just very corrupted, and it really messes up the episode.
It's turd soup, y'all!
I mean, the first 20 minutes are good. The first 20 minutes are very solid audio and, like, a good episode. And it would have ended up being a very good episode. But unfortunately, the way it messed up, we're still going to present the episode with the screw-ups intact, trying to make it seem complete. But if you want to skip this one, I don't blame you. If you want to leave after 20 minutes, I also don't blame you.
I'll be personally offended.
Well, yeah, you'll have to deal with Luke.
Yeah.
But good news, though, aside from the bad news about, everything, we've decided to make it up to y'all. We're going to release the next episode early on Thursday this week.
You get a double dose of nonsense.
That's Thursday, June 18th. And I guess you can mute it now for like a couple seconds if you don't want to know what the movie is and attempt to play the coming attraction thing or find out at the end of this. But
oh, good. So that part is intact.
Oh no, it's still bounce around, but you hear us guessing.
Oh, so, all right. Well, good. Good.
It's weird, and if people aren't going to listen to the episode, they should probably still know what's coming, right?
I think so.
Next week is KANGAROO JACK. So, not next week. Thursday is KANGAROO JACK. He's coming to you faster than he ever should.
Hopping in hot.
It is a good episode. The audio for that is good. And then we'll be back to our regular every Tuesday at midnight drop.
Sorry to Kory and sorry to Nick. We did have fun with both of you. Thank you for your suggestion, Kory. Thank you for coming on. Stuff happens.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Nick, for bringing Little Giants to us. And again, the bits that are still there, I think, are good. But then it gets choppy and weird. So there's good parts of it and then parts that are close to unlistenable. So again,
let us know. Tell us, send us some stuff. Say, well, these are my favorite parts and these are my least favorite parts. Send us a picture of your mad face. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, no, we've been at the end of every episode, there's the call for feedback, and you can follow our Facebooks or Twitters or email us or email us. That was bad. Holy crap.
Follow our email.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all. That's all we got. Yeah. Do you have anything else?
We appreciate you guys as well. Thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for listening to the first 4 episodes, and we already have a bunch more recorded. We're recording them well in advance. I actually think that the Little Giants one is the first one that we recorded after dropping the beginning of the podcast, which is interesting.
Dropping the... Oh, beginning after we dropped our
podcast.
First... Okay,
After it launched, is what I meant to say.
It's true.
Yeah. All right. Let's not delay this any longer. Sorry again to everybody involved with it, but thank you all very much for listening. Now, please, and if you want to, enjoy our episode.
And if you don't want to, still enjoy.
Right. No Highway Option presents Little Giants, and tune in on Thursday for KANGAROO JACK.
Hippity hoppity fuck us. It wasn't. Right. That's a turd. You don't have to keep that.
Okay, hello and welcome back to another episode of No Highway Option, a podcast about cinema that answers the one question that applies to every film. Is it better or worse than Vin Diesel's 2005 seminal masterpiece, The Pacifier? I'm one of your hosts, Connor. Go Birds.
And I'm the other host, Luke. Go Pats. And our guest today.
Hi, yeah, my name is Kory Louko, and I don't like football. So
This was the right movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
right.
Children's football it's a little different, but yeah.
Our movie picked by our guest from last week, Nick, it was Little Giants, and first of all, it's interesting to mention this was another movie, like another certain sports movie in the 90s, that was based off a commercial.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently McDonald's ran like a Pee Wee football Super Bowl ad, and Steven Spielberg called up somebody and went, well, we have to make that, but like a movie.
Did the Super Bowl ad have all of this like weird petty family drama too? Or,
if you look up like McDonald's Little Giants ad, it's just a thing of kids playing football. So no, the
right, that makes more sense.
The toxic brother dynamic kind of came later.
Gets added in, right?
That's what Space Jam was missing, I think.
A toxic brother dynamic?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like guaranteed someone's going to give us Space Jam in the future, so we can talk about that when it comes up.
But as far as movies that were a commercial and sports, and even Bugs Bunny starts this one, because WB. There's more on this than I thought.
Yeah, it's all Warner Brothers, actually. That's, they're doing a lot of commercial movies.
Well, it sounds like it was just like a formula. They were like, oh, it worked a couple times. Let's just keep going.
Keep cranking them out.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to mention, obviously, you're not going to be able to see this, but I have the exact same glasses frames as Rick Moranis in this movie. I felt like I was looking at myself the entire time. Couldn't be prouder of my choices.
That's how you know they're good.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually was fun. This was fun for me because I hadn't seen The Pacifier. I had seen Little Giants as a kid, but I watched it again, but I haven't seen The Pacifier ever. So like when thinking about the
that's fun.
Scale of is this better or worse than The Pacifier, I first had to like discover The Pacifier myself.
You're not the first one who had that.
Yeah. I remember The Pacifier coming out, but I had no idea. I never watched it. And so, I'm just in my living room last night yelling like, Lauren Graham and Vin Diesel are gonna fuck. And that was really fun for me.
That's part of the sequel we never got.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's very much implied. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's more than implied. All right, so Little Giants starts out. How many of these family movies in the 90s had like the bad kids handwriting opening credits? Because I feel like it's all of them.
I loved it.
It's cute. It's cute and it's fun, but just looking at it, I was like, oh, it's one of these again.
Yeah, it's fair.
Well, and it's another one of those movies that has like very long opening credits that you're kind of like, when are we gonna get through this? Which actually, because it had the football play credits and then it had the bad handwriting credits, and I was sort of like, all right, I'm ready.
The football play would turn to little cartoons.
And then I was like, oh, I see why this movie is an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
When it could have fully been a 90-minute movie. But
it probably could have been like an hour TV special.
Yeah.
We go to Urbania, Ohio.
That's the name they went with. Like, people sat down in a room and won.
It is the fakest name for a place probably since like Townsville from the Powerpuff Girls. But like Townsville's kind of funny. Every time they said Urbania, I was like, just say like anything else.
It sounded like a made up country Sydney Bristow would go to in Alias.
Oh, okay. I was with you until you said her name, and I was like, I don't remember who that is.
We liked Alias a lot, me and my brother.
Well, it's also kind of weird because it seems like they're trying to play off like the word urban, but that's the exact opposite of what they're trying to give you. Like you get this like very rural small town where like the pinnacle of pride is being on a water tower. So
The pinnacle of pride is not making it to the major leagues and being on a water tower.
But he got a Heisman. Yeah. Didn't he make it?
No, he made it.
They never mention him doing anything. I think somewhere it says
I don't know,
something
man. The
about
license plate on his car says Heisman.
I was gonna say the license plate says Heisman.
I thought Heisman was college, though.
No, man.
Oh, okay. Well, that takes away a couple of my notes about how strange this town is.
I would like to reiterate that I do not like football, so I do not know what a Heisman is, but I assumed he made it.
I like football when it's fun to watch, when it's like the big game and the Eagles do well. So I like football in 2018.
I have I have a weird relationship with football, and Luke can probably attest to this because, you know, growing up in New England, there's just like such a crazy like fandom, almost cult-like feeling around it.
Fair.
Which I guess you also would probably experience with the Eagles as well.
Oh,
so
God, yeah.
I think it comes from that, just not liking that. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
So we see in 1964, there's Kevin and Danny O'Shea, who are in the future played by Ed Neal and Rick Moranis. Kevin's good at football, and Danny's a little dweeb who can't play football.
I thought the age casting was pretty good.
Yeah.
And not exactly age, but when they show all the group of kids' parents at that party, those were all really good too.
Like they were believable.
Yeah, like I was
parents.
looking at the kid and I was looking at the parents and thinking, oh, wow, you know, somebody, this is a CD who did a pretty good job.
My favorite thing about the casting of the parents is that all of the parents were just as weird as their kids. Like,
oh, yeah.
None of the parents had a kid where they were like, oh, God, how did I get such a dweeb? It's like, no, they look exactly and act exactly like you.
There are zero normal characters in this movie except for maybe Patty, whatever her name is.
Mayonnaise.
But like we don't get to know her enough. That's what I was thinking the whole time. It cuts forward to 1994, and you find out that Kevin O'Shea was a big football star, and he's in his hometown coaching kids football. Kid named Rudy falls over and they think he's bleeding. Turns out he just had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in his hat.
Yeah, this started I started keeping track of who my favorite character was because it switched a lot, and I figured, you know, we're doing like a sports thing, we could do this is a game I can keep track of the whole time I'm watching the movie. And this was the first one. It was the sandwich kid.
Yeah, Rudy's pretty great. He keeps coming back with some good lines and gags. There's a weird dig about how he likes puffed Cheetos instead of crunchy Cheetos.
I loved that. I thought that was like a great little detail. Where he was like puffed Cheetos. You such a wuss. Like can't handle the crunchy. I loved that. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I want to know if like that was somebody felt really strongly about that. Or if that was just like bullshit that came out of someone's head.
I just think it's like one of those beautiful details that like is in just like very small weird towns, you know? Like,
yeah. Which we know about.
Yeah. And
there's just like one writer who's flipping over bowls of puffed Cheetos every time he walks in the room like, God damn it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also funny, so the sandwich in the helmet thing, I saw this as a kid and I haven't seen it in a long time, but I like know the general story, but there were moments in the movie that felt so, I was like, oh, I remember this, and I like was narrating it in my head as it was about to happen, and that's one of them. It's like that really stuck with me as a kid, that like opening reveal.
See, I remembered seeing it and I remembered liking it, but I didn't remember anything that happened. I remembered like a vague shot of a water tower, and I remembered that I liked it.
I mean, that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Well, I remember this. I remember it because like I was kind of like a Becky character. as a kid. And so I loved watching this movie of like a girl playing on the guys' team and like just being so much better than a lot of them. And I just also, can we talk about why would you name a tomboy Becky? Can you give her a slightly more androgynous name? Something.
I feel like
Jamie, Taylor, anything. Just like, it was every time.
Give us a bone.
Every time. I mean, I guess because the whole idea is that, like, it's like, call me Icebox, don't call me Becky. And I like that. But the thing is whenever they called her Becky, I was just so, it was like hitting me over the head with, like, this very intense, like, very feminine name that, like, means so much more than Becky now.
Yeah.
So it was like, I was like, I just really wish they had picked a different name. I think that they could have. I'll just rename her for myself.
I think every note I have for her calls her Icebox, which is a strange nickname, but like I get it.
But
I just
I
can't
actually
really
don't get it because it's never explained.
Yeah.
They never.
I think it's supposed to be
I
like
also don't know.
I think it's like she's cold, like her personality.
Oh.
Like she's not a very like warm and tender person. I think that's what it was going for.
I guess that I was waiting the whole movie for the origin story of Icebox though, and we never got it because it's such a bizarre nickname. So you thought there would have to be some sort of discussion of it. There wasn't.
Yeah.
That's the prequel.
I guess.
I
It's
could've-
prequel where her mom's like, bye. And
Yeah.
then she's like, call me Icebox.
Yeah, but before I go, I dub the Icebox.
Yeah.
I think the closest we got to Icebox was that serial killer kid came out of the moving truck with a fridge on his back.
That was,
Like I would have,
Yeah.
that would have made sense.
We also get introduced to Rashid, who's a kid who can't catch, and he talks to his hands about it.
Yes, that was when it switched who my favorite character was, when he started talking to his hands. It was a quick one.
There's a tiny blonde kid who can't run named Tad. And none of them... Rad Tad. And none of them make it onto the Little Cowboys, which is very upsetting. Rudy is so sad, he pours out some Reese's Pieces for his homies.
That was so sad. That was the worst part. I was like, why wouldn't you eat those? Don't let those go to waste.
Yeah.
I thought the whole tryouts was wild. Like
the whole tryouts is really wild
See,
because there's all this crazy stuff is going on, and then like Icebox is like beating up somebody, and then Rick Moranis' character Danny O'Shea comes in and is like, hey, Icebox, stop, let him go. And then you pan over to see that there were like 15 other adults there, and none of them had interfered. And like, so because for me, I thought the only two adults there were like this, you know, the football coaches, so Kevin at that point, and then his lackey, who we have to talk about, and
named
like. But there were so many other parents and adults witnessing this happening, but Danny O'Shea had to be the one to come and like do something about it. It was that part was very bizarre.
I feel like all of the adults are also scared of Icebox, which is strange considering it's a 10-year-old.
Also, her aunt is there. Her aunt is sitting right there. Like, she has a relationship with her. You know, you could have said something. It definitely
choking
felt
that
like
kid to death.
Right. And it wasn't even like, and it's not even just that, is there were other things happening. Right. It wasn't that was like enough for like a parent probably should have intervened. But then we find out that but then we find out that most of the parents were just
about nothing.
That's right. Yeah, they were all like bullying her. And the parents were like, yeah, this is how the football tryouts go. And then the one parent, Rick Moranis, comes in and is like, no, guys, it's a bad idea.
Stop that.
Yeah. It was weird that there were parents here to begin with, I feel like. I never went to a tryout where all of the parents were standing there watching.
Yeah, I think that definitely is a good small town detail because although, I mean, even growing up in a really small town, I never saw any of that happen. But also, we grew up in a town so small there weren't tryouts. Everyone just made the team.
Fair.
So, I felt like it was like kind of showing us that like this was like the entertainment for the town. And then we sort of get that throughout the movie with like the old guys betting on it in the diner, and like this is like it's kind of like a traveling carnival or something.
There is nothing to do here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the equipment manager's a real weird, or the assistant coach, whatever he is. You said his name was Buzz?
His name is Butts. B-U-T-Z.
Oh. He is a weirdo. He's
he's absolutely bonkers. Yeah.
He's screaming at the kids, calling them losers.
Yeah, and also like he's the like I guess assistant coach or equipment manager or something for Kevin on the Little Cowboys, but then he also works for Kevin at the car dealership, right? Mm-hmm. He's just always kind of like there.
He's Kevin's little lackey.
Yeah, right. And he just sort of follows him around and says really, really nuts things, like, for most of the movie.
I feel like he only, like, says a bunch of the stuff for the first half, and then the second half he kind of just disappears and gets replaced by the terrifying murder child's dad.
That's true. Yeah, Spike's dad really does come in strong.
Yeah. He really takes over.
I think that there were a couple characters like that in this movie where they were really trying to establish each of these tropes, right? So this guy would be like a comic relief lackey sort of deal, and then they also wanted the romantic interest, and she comes in like here and there. They closed the arc on that at the end of the movie, but like, you know, she's really not in the movie very much.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
She could be replaced by anything.
Yeah.
Not anyone, anything.
There's a film theory thing called the sexy lamp, where if there's a female character that can be replaced by a lamp, then and like the plot doesn't change. So I was trying to use that, but not say it. Do you know who the Kevin O'Shea's youngest daughter was, who says prayers and says like God bless Nickelodeon and the gender with the hairy arms or whatever she says?
Oh, Debbie, the one, or is that the one who's like Becky's age, or the one younger than that?
The younger one.
Oh, I'm not sure what her name was.
It was like long.
I don't remember the character name, but that was Alexa Vega from Spy Kids.
Oh. I would love to talk about his wife, who just hates his guts. Like, I've never seen... I love her. She's, like, immediately against him. She's like, I don't know why you didn't let Icebox on the team. He's trying to teach the Pee-wee football kid, runs at his wife to tackle her with a pillow, and then something. Like... She's just like, but she seems happy. She almost is like a happy person in a marriage where she gets to hate her husband.
And I also thought like that whole section where he's leading a practice. It's nighttime. He has 2 children at his house that aren't his own. Mm-hmm. And the practice is in the living room.
Yeah, who does indoor football practice is the biggest
the
thing.
Hero?
He is a very sad character, honestly.
Oh, he's a horribly sad character. I think, like, and that's what I thought was really funny about the whole thing, by showing just, like, what it means to be, like, the king of all stories are all these old gamblers at the diner. And that's it. He doesn't have anybody. The king of this town sells cars. Like,
he has, like, a burger named after him, I think. At one point, when Icebox is upset that she didn't get on the team, at one point Rick Moranis suggests they go hunting and make moose sounds together, which is clever foreshadowing of Brother Bear, where Rick Moranis plays a moose.
I did not even notice.
From, 10 years later, and a different studio.
He also, for like the first half hour, 40 minutes of this movie, every time Rick Moranis shows up, he's 2 buttons deep in his shirt. And it is chest hair city. I did not notice that. But then, like...
Yeah, Rick Moranis is not a guy I would think to be very chest hairy.
Well, he is. It is alarming. But, like, more power to him.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just seemed like I don't know whether it was something they hadn't caught for a couple of scenes or something they were like, yeah, do it. But then they really button it up. It stops immediately, about a half an hour in.
Yes, he was like, you know what? I'm a football coach. Gotta button up the shirt. I don't just work at I've been servicing this community for like, however many years or something.
I think it's like a gas station that's somehow a town landmark, they say at the end. I don't remember if they explain.
He's really proud of it.
It's bizarre. But yeah, the buttons show when he's casual Danny and business Danny.
Exactly.
So he gets the idea Icebox kind of gets the idea to form their own team. And they go to kick-ass 90s kids movie Clubhouse to recruit their players, which I'm still jealous of. Like,
I didn't have a clubhouse with a friend who was cooking meth.
No, I just had a garage. And usually there was a car in it. I think Rashid says something about, there goes my chance at the big leagues. Now I'll have to be a senator.
Yes.
I believe that was a lie.
Football player. He's like, well, guess I'm not going to have to be a senator. Beautiful, Rashid.
Those are my two options in my family.
I'm glad that we all wrote it down. I'm glad we all had it back.
Oh, it was when, and there's always going to be when you have a movie that's based on like a ragtag group of misfits, like forming a movie. I don't know what his name is. Rudy. Yeah. So then Rudy is hanging.
Cut to black giant fart.
You can't end a Rudy.
His whole personality is fart, but his father doesn't know.
Yeah, his dad's unaware of how bad his farts are.
Yeah, he is a little bit.
So, like, do we think that means that he is not the same at home, or does that mean that his father is worse?
It definitely means his father's worse.
Makes sense to me.
Also, his dad was Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Bullies come by to do a classic not joke to them, so Icebox decides to go on a vehicular manslaughter chase.
Yeah, it's awesome. She took back the lead of favorite character at that point. I was also, in that moment, I realized she looks so much like TJ Detweiler. And I was trying to find it for like a long time, and it was that her face, if you put them next to each other, it's almost the same one.
I guess?
No? Am I the only one here?
I mean, one's a live-action girl and the other's a cartoon boy.
Are in a car chase, which doesn't make any sense to me. It shouldn't be able to, right? Like, go-karts go, what, like 30?
Yeah.
How powerful and very street legal. and almost gets hit by a train, but dodges it.
Also outruns the train. It shouldn't keep up. It should top at like 15, 20.
Yeah. They recruit the whole team. Danny kind of gets bamboozled into coaching the team because he didn't know that Icebox made it. And so 2 Saturdays from today at 12 noon, there's a game to see who Urbania's new football team was going to be.
I liked that it didn't... Usually in a movie like this, there's a progression and you see the team and it looks like they're getting better. And there wasn't a single montage where I felt like this group of kids got better at football. Like across the whole time, I was like, they're still terrible. Can't wait to see what happens. Another...
Junior Floyd.
Junior Floyd, yes.
Yeah.
A wonderful character. I think we're starting to see that more and more with, like, I was talking the other day about how, right, like, how are we supposed to stand a chance? I'm 25 years old and I have all of these crushes.
Played by Devin Sawa, who also played Casper in the Casper movie.
He does not look like that cartoon.
No. I saw his name in the credits and I was like, why do I know him? And I also got excited when it was like, the billing was like Devin Sawa, John Madden. I was like, oh, thank God, together at last.
I thought the grocery store was another wild addition to this town. what's the deal there? This one kid, we meet Junior, he's just hucking toilet papers down the aisle. And two
Yeah.
aisles over, Icebox is stealing donuts and eating them in the grocery store. There's no adult supervision in the grocery store because they're all at football tryouts.
I'm pretty sure this is a lawless town. Like, so much so that he has to call the state police to pull a prank on his brother.
I had his wife, who hates him. He was like, he called the Stadies. They would just, I mean, honestly, whenever the cops get called, it's horrible. But, like, they're, oh, yeah, I was always, whole time. Yeah.
There's another layer. Yeah.
Also, the fake call he makes, Kevin and his assistant coach are spying on their practice because they heard they got Junior Floyd and that Icebox is good, and they see that Rudy is wearing the top half of a Darth Vader helmet as his helmet. No one says anything about it. But, so when they notice that, Rick Moranis, Danny, whatever, calls the state police as an old woman who's like, there are two men spying on young children.
Valid.
Yeah.
And I never wavered. I was always on his team.
Oh,
the
yeah,
whole
no,
time. It was a fuck you, Kevin. I thought he could have been doing more. Oh, I don't know if this is when they're spying on him or not, but at one point, Kevin and Butts are talking about the other team, and Butts looks at the group of kids and says, if these were my kids, I'd drown them.
Yeah, it's like a long extended thing about like chickens, and it's like, if I was the mother hen, I'd just leave them to drown or something. Yeah.
It's at the car wash.
Does Butts even have a kid?
I don't know.
This adds a problematic layer.
Doesn't have a kid who's on the team either, does he?
No, because he has two girls.
Yeah.
And he hates girls.
They should be cheerleaders only.
All of his on the other football team, and there would have been like a fight between the two kids, and then
then they get word that a new kid is in town from the gambling old men who have nothing better to do, and we meet Spike, who and Danny gets there first, and the Spike's dad assumes he's Coach O'Shea, and technically he is. So he never says his name is Kevin. So Spike joins the Little Giants, and we get details on Spike that he was bred to play football, basically. Yeah. Every night before he goes to bed, his father massages his hamstrings with evaporated milk. And at that line, I went, this is too much. I need to go outside and not watch this movie for like 3 hours. That kind of broke my brain just looking at Spike, because we're introduced to a 10-year-old carrying a refrigerator.
Like that, I wasn't fully impressed by that. Although he definitely, they do a very good job of making him look like a monster.
So much so that he exclusively refers to himself in the third person.
Yeah. Somebody should have called child services, was what I was thinking.
Yeah, there's a lot of details about Spike that are just ignored so that he can come in and be like, Spike is in Pee-wee hell.
He also doesn't have a mom.
Which is never fully talked about. Yeah. He does. I don't think it's like and just jumping quickly back to the mom thing, I've never seen, it was just so docile. And that I wonder is like, and it was like, he was just explaining it like it was just this your mom leaves.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, he doesn't like bear ill will to this woman kind of thing, and he like doesn't, like trash talk.
Right.
It sounds like she just left.
But he was like weirdly cool with it.
It seems like it was something that happened long enough ago that he's gotten over it, and like has been able to accept it.
She might have left.
In a much worse movie, like, that whole thing about the mom leaving would have been a screaming match. Or, like, him breaking down. This is the second movie we've done on this podcast where one of the people leaves for vague reasons after Over the Top. Like, they never say why Sylvester Stallone splits in Over the Top. And
That's true. Yeah.
That was just on my mind when it was like, your mom left.
But he was the leaving parent, redeeming himself.
True. Very true. Yeah, there's no rumors about Danny's wife selling drugs.
And didn't Vin Diesel's mom in The Pacifier, she left, or did she die?
He has a, I don't know about his mother. He talks a lot about the weird stuff with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
I think she left. I was like, he's like fully by himself. Like, this is crazy. Absent. There was just a lot of absent mothers. It was very bizarre.
That's the way to do it.
That really is for this.
It's an underlying theme of this podcast.
Mm-hmm. And then we find out that Kevin takes Spike away because he basically just goes to his dad and goes, "I'm the guy you're looking for."
It took a long time to happen.
Yeah.
Done some damage to the Danny O'Shea and his daughter's relationship because her dad is more like trying to play to Spike to be like, no, we need him kind of thing. And Uncle Cav, oh, you like a boy? This helped my niece in a time of weirdness. I'm the
Uncle Kevin. Boys only like cheerleaders. And that's it.
You know, I definitely like the complication of, like, all of a sudden realizing that, you know...
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I liked that whole thing, but I guess her arc gets a little lost when he, like, finds a cheerleader uniform and she's not playing, right? But then we never, like, reassure her that she can do what she wants. I always feel that for...
That...
Right.
This was my first time watching this, so when Icebox was introduced, I was like, oh, great. Little Giants is a feminist masterpiece. And then all this happened, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
I think the apology might be in the form of, like, he lets her do it. Like, he sees the cheerleading uniform after their argument, and he doesn't, like, force her into the team. He's like, hey, she's doing it, whatever. It's fine. Although, he does say something like, you're not on the team, but, like, I did this all for you. This was your idea, and you forced me into doing this. Like, this is for you. She's like, no, Dad, it's for you. And I was like, no, it's pretty much for you.
I was torn. I would have liked to have seen that scene, but I also liked that so much of it got to be her own journey. Got to be her figuring it out and going her own. Insane shit.
It's like 80% montages and 12% Rudy farting.
I thought something was coming, and then it just blew off the end.
Didn't care. Also, but then after Spike goes away, a convenient bus breaks down in their town, full of football people like John Madden. I'm reading the cast list because I only knew two people. I think it's
the Giants of the time.
It's John Madden, Steve Emtman, Bruce Smith, Emmett Smith, and Tim Brown. I only knew Emmett Smith because he was in a credit card commercial when I was a child. And John Madden is just John Madden. But they go and they help the children do some football. By teaching them that football is 80% mental and 40% physical.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I love that, and I loved Rudy's reaction where he's like, yeah, and then he turns around, looks right in the camera, he's like, what? Oh, the final game is just just gags over and over, and I loved it. That's what made me go from like kind of liking this movie to fully just being all in.
You could win once. Everyone has that one inspirational speech I've ever heard.
Once.
There was a band from Ireland that my dad used to listen to all the time, and one of their songs, the chorus was, "To win just once, that would be enough." And every basketball team of mine that he coached, he would play that in the car on the way to the game.
I love that. As someone who played on a softball team in high school, that would be us. Yeah. I love the one-time speech. I think it's really beautiful.
It's a really sweet speech. The game that this happens at is, again, Urbania, there's nothing to do, so they have a marching band, they have every citizen of the town, the cops are rolling around with their loudspeaker being like, "Get a good night's sleep, all football players." It's so bizarre.
Right.
I don't understand why you're doing that.
We've got the announcer who's played by Harry Shearer out of nowhere.
He pulled ahead. He was my favorite character for a minute. I forget what the quote was, but he had one.
Was it when the kid got kicked in the nuts and he said something along the lines of, "Oh, he's packing a pound of Aunt Betty's nut butter" or something?
That was the one. That was the...
I didn't fully get it, but I think that was it.
Yeah, it was just that phrase. And the fact that this was a Pee Wee football event.
90% of my notes are just like writing a gag and how much I liked it. Like their little cheer at the beginning where they're like, "Giants, Giants, help us, God."
I liked the boy in the bubble. I don't know what his name was.
The little snotty kid. I think his name was. I wrote it down. Oh, where is
Jake? His name is Jake.
Thank you, Jake. Yes.
But I liked he did the "I'm not turtly enough for the Turtle Club" thing. Went right into his shell.
Yeah, "I'm gonna rip your head off," and he just goes into
a much stronger team.
The one kid where the Johnny, whose dad is never around, and the play, I never knew his name until that part.
Dad who was never around, but they didn't really have time to make a whole person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
which I guess if you're trying to do an absentee thing, that technically counts, but like...
Yeah, but so their play is "Pitch to Johnny," and Johnny says, "Pitch to Johnny? You can't pitch to Johnny. I'm Johnny," which was me as a child playing sports with my friends. And Rick Moranis is just like, "Hey, run to your dad in the end zone," which is a direct reference to the McDonald's commercial. There's one point in the McDonald's commercial where the coach is like, "Blue 46 goes turn and blah, blah, blah. Do you get that?" And the kid's like, "No, I'm 5. He's like, "Run to daddy." Which was just bizarre after I looked it up and was like, oh, that's a plot point in this. Not exactly a plot point, just a scene.
Yeah. It's interesting that they don't do any like McDonald's product placement if it comes from that.
No, it's interesting. I mean, it's better off for it.
Yeah.
That town probably can't afford a McDonald's.
I also noticed that Kevin is a bad football coach. Something you noticed in the last game, because they shouldn't have won. They're on like the 5-yard line and it's 4th down and Kevin risks it for a running play instead of kicking it for the 3 points and winning the game, because he's a bad football coach.
Here's the thing, Luke.
I know.
This has a scene where children eat Alka-Seltzer in order to intimidate their opponent. It's not exactly a realistic thing.
I just thought it was wild. Like his whole character is built on I'm the football guy. I'm the guy who footballs. My whole life has been this, and now I'm back in my hometown. I love selling cars and talking about how I played football once, and then he's bad at it. But I mean, I guess that's like, I don't know, part of it.
Yeah, I was kind of just along for the ride. The annexation of Puerto Rico. Which is
made by John Madden, apparently.
And it's one of the best plays I think I've ever seen. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why more teams don't do that.
Pretending someone has the ball and then give her, and she gets tackled, and then she looks at Spike's stupid Silva for each each player running closer and closer to the touchdown. That is an odd choice. Just generally for like their
yeah, he says no mercy, and she says no ball.
Without a doubt, the worst one there. We'll give it to him first.
But isn't it Jake who gets it at the end?
I thought it was Tad who ends up running it in.
I know Tad does it earlier, but I think it's Jake again, because doesn't he run into the pole? Or is that?
Oh no, it's the other kid. It's Boy in the Bubble. It's
yeah,
Jake.
That's Jake,
what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jake ends up getting the touchdown, and the Giants win, and that's the only time I'll be happy to say that. Danny asks Patty out finally, because that was something we were all waiting for.
Yeah, they were building it up.
One scene built it up.
Could be part of the reason
scenes.
that the mother didn't stick around. It's because he was obsessed with the girl he met when he was 11, and he's still there.
Yeah, it just had to happen. They're like, we gotta close this here. Then they go to this person's house to like get Junior on the team, right? And then her, since she was 11, like maybe she just moved back.
Probably.
Right.
It's also
the
super
size of the
weird.
town is.
It's also super weird that father and daughter have a crush on the same family. That just felt weird to me.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of
like the scene is cute, but
charming.
I was like, it's super weird. Like, who's gonna get it first? Who's gonna make it weird for the other?
Yeah. Yep.
There was a couple like pairing in our school for a while where like the older brother Danny scenes was the two of them trying to get into the house.
It was cute. The teams and coaches and brothers come together to form one big team for a great happy ending. And finally, the water tower. What?
Saw a weird guy in the crowd. I had to sneak one in. Well, no, on the last play, they pan the camera to Hannon. He grunts, and then they pan to the crowd. And in the middle, there's just one out of place guy wearing a whole ass fez, like he's on the Shriners.
Oh, yeah, I think that was supposed to be a Shriner.
Interesting.
I remember seeing him too and being like, Fez man must be, I guess, a Shriner, or like, I don't know what the other explanation is besides, like, this is 20 years before Gravity Falls was a thing, so like, who knows? And it ends kind of abruptly with the water tower being changed to O'Shea Brothers. Fade to black at the end.
With nothing. Yeah, just boom, over.
Yeah, it kind of just no epilogue, no like seeing the teams get along.
Yeah.
None of the little giants are going to play. Like,
they're gonna ride the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to IMDb trivia, there were plans to do a sequel which never materialized. So I guess that would have been it. of like the two teams coming together
The season.
and having to like learn to work with each other.
One thing I want to mention though about the Junior gets injured by Spike in like a really, just really monster move by Spike and his crazy dad telling him to just attack another child. But it's a little interesting to me that like Junior got so hurt just from like Spike tackling him, because earlier in the game we saw a child literally get pushed into the. But I was a little disappointed in Junior's resolve.
Junior's frailty.
So. She's great. I also love when. Oh my gosh, I love it.
She's great.
My favorite one ended on Kevin's wife. It's just the full-on shot of her getting the crowd to cheer against him. She hates her husband. We all hate her husband.
She hates her husband so much. All right. Well, that's the movie. Now we do the criteria to compare it to The Pacifier. First up is, how's the soundtrack? I think it's nice.
Like music.
Yeah.
Section that you would get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a good.
Checks all the boxes.
It's a good like mix of cues. And it's got car wash.
Yeah. Not a bunch of like name stuff, but a lot of instrumental stuff.
The one theme that plays
that
a lot sounded a lot like a comedy tonight to me, but I don't know why. Like the very beginning did. It was just.
I don't know. I missed that.
And must have been stuck in my head or something. Next, where would the main actor, in this case probably Rick Moranis, land on the Dieselometer for a range of Vin Diesel performances? What do you guys have? Because I struggled with this.
I put this one at Furious 7. This is the closest I've come to putting something on par with The Pacifier yet. It's like, it's definitely, it's like a bananas concept. It shouldn't work, but there's like a lot of heart in it. And it's fun. I love it.
I don't know if it's a bananas concept. It's just like Pee-wee football.
Yeah, but the whole idea of like, there can only be one Pee-wee football in this town. And like the whole, I mean, I guess the most realistic part about this is how involved the parents are in this youth sport. Like that is the part that felt the most authentic to me, is like even Spike's dad. Like I played JV baseball with a kid whose dad got thrown out of a game for yelling at a ref. And when we stop recording, I can say a name, but
every game growing up, like the only people who were getting
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, middle school soccer. I had a coach who was a good guy, but he had to leave to officiate a wedding. So we had the assistant coach, and he almost got thrown out because he was screaming at the ref who gave a kid a red card because the kid punched the air. Like, didn't threaten anyone. The kid was just mad, so he went like, "Oh man," and the ref was like, "Okay, well that kid's out of the game." And it's like, that's not how that works. Next up we have, did I like it as a kid?
Where did you guys put the...
what
was your Dieselometer rating, guys?
I'm just going to agree with the Furious 7 thing, because I had way too much trouble figuring this one out.
Oh, how about you, Kory?
So this is like in like other Vin Diesel roles, because Vin Diesel and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson are both in that one. And it starts off, pans, and it's like a bunch of 11-year-old girls. Yeah, exactly. And so I was really just reading facial cues.
Did I like it as a kid, or would I have liked it? I didn't see it, but I probably would have liked it a lot. I remember my neighbors kept wanting me to watch it, and I would be like, that's not a cartoon, I don't feel like it.
I did like it. I only remember seeing it once, though.
I loved this as a kid. A that I watched as a kid called Little Big League, which is about the Minnesota Twins. And so the inspirational sports movie was pretty big in my
Great. What has the director gone on to do? His name is Dwayne Dunham. This was actually his last narrative movie that he directed. He directed a documentary after this. He has one scheduled for release this year called The
Well, that's
Happy
not
Worker.
happening. I'm assuming, right? Like,
Bad news.
Yeah, true. The only detail about it that I could find is that it was filmed in a real quarry. Yeah. But right before this, he did Homeward Bound. Homeward Bound's good.
oh
Yeah,
my
Homeward
god,
Bound.
that movie kills me. Amazing.
So, yeah, I'd say good. Even though, according to this page, he was removed as director after shooting more than 2/3 of it. And the director of the live-action Flintstones movie came in to finish all of the football sequences. Which is interesting. Was there anything as memorable as the Peter Panda dance? Like a small, big, memorable thing? I said probably the tackling icebox scene.
This one was kind of a bummer for me because, like I said, I couldn't remember anything about the movie, so I felt like by default I had to say no. But like now, watching it as an adult, I would remember a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I think the thing that was as memorable to me was the one thing that really they all break. He claps his hands and he can't get them unstuck. I remember.
Oh yeah, the hand glue.
Beautiful.
I was really hoping that he was going to have just opened his hands enough for the ball to fall.
See, I thought that he wasn't gonna catch it. I thought the ball was just gonna land on the big patch that he had on his chest, and it was just gonna stick there, so it would kind of count as a catch. I was waiting for that, but the little morphing into toilet paper thing was a cute effect that worked.
I loved him and his father. The genuine joy on his father's face when he caught the ball. Such wholesome content.
All of the little giant's parents are just genuinely good people. They're just weird. Well, one of them might land in who is the Brad Garrett of this movie, who is just the strange and memorable side character. It really could have been any of the kids. I said Rudy. Because I think Rudy was my favorite.
Yeah, I liked him too. I said Spike's dad. I went the other way with it. You know, he's not a good guy, but what the fuck is he? You know, like what is the home life there?
Spike, I want you to go out there and murder this boy.
Yeah, go out and put that other 11-year-old out of commission. This is my child. I've put a refrigerator on his back when we moved. They had a very like Ivan Drago and his son vibe.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
I also, what I felt from the Brad Garrett character from The Pacifier was like, this person is, but it was weird because they treat him in that movie like he's like, oh, he's harmless, directly perpetrating really harmful.
True.
Yeah, but he says fun catchphrases while he does it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely entertaining.
Yeah, he's not a good dude, but he introduces himself by saying, "My friends call me Little Puppet," so, like, he's entertaining. Last but not least, is there anything as insane as the Sound of Music subplot in The Pacifier, which, in case you don't remember, in one scene, they find out that the boy has bleached his hair and has a Nazi armband, so they believe him to be a Nazi, but it's fine, he's just sneaking off to play Rolf in a community theater production of The Sound of Music.
I love that part in The Pacifier. They're like, oh, well, he might be a Nazi. You should talk to him. Also, like, not only is he, because they find this armband, right? So, like, not only is he possibly a Nazi, but he didn't just, like...
It's also weird that he wears that when it's not a costume rehearsal. And the guy's outside. The guy's outside at least. Or no, he shows it to him.
I don't think he was wearing it.
No, they found it in his locker, I think. I don't really know if there was one in Little Giants that, like, fully fit.
I said the town. This crazy-ass football Narnia town. Where you get, I mean, which some of it is, like, each small town has its own crazy stuff that's just to it. But this one has like these old gambling men, and Kevin is his like pivotal king place in this is coaching Pee Wee football, and then in the middle, the New York Giants and John Madden get lost and end up there.
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
That might. I mean, I don't think, and also I don't think there was anything
Right.
as insane. But I will say that Luke, I think you're close with the about.
Luke, do you have a ranking for this one?
Yeah, I ranked it 3 smashed footballs and 2 talking hands.
All right. Is that better, worse, on the same level as the Pacifier?
It's
Where's that
close.
land?
It's the closest I've come yet. Still not better than the Pacifier.
Okay. I ranked it 7 top half of Darth Vader helmets out of 9. And I'd say it's just about on the level of the Pacifier. Like, I enjoyed it pretty much the same, even though I had no nostalgia for it.
And I will say that I was very excited about. I did not expect all, and I did. Like I got vote for jet skis, and I'm like, yeah, I've always been worried about 4 jet skis. Like, can the government not afford smaller wristbands? Like, those things are huge. Seeing device he has too to watch them going on their bracelet, where their bracelets are going. Those things that your dad would put in his car that that tells you when now he has to leave. And then I also
It's not a terrible movie, shockingly.
Thing in the world, which is because the one thing I can do when I get really sad is just I watch, high schools try to put.
Yeah.
Pacifier got a lot of points for me at those moments.
All right, well, that's that for Little Giants. Now we're going to play the Coming Attractions game, where our guest has chosen a movie for us for our next episode and is going to give us hints for us to guess what we're doing. And I'm going to try not to guess it the first time this time, because that has made this really short the past couple episodes.
Big flex, Connor.
Oh, I know. I think I know it. But I'm gonna.
Don't.
Can I not guess what it is, but ask you, is there an animal involved? Oh, fuck.
Hint, so I'll move on to the next one. That it features a Brooklyn hoodie, a red Brooklyn zip-up hoodie.
This movie was really marketed to kids, even though kids should not watch it.
Seems like you guys know.
I do.
Michael Shannon, I think, is the most bonkers part of the movie that I'm having you guys watch. Which makes his mob boss dad very upset. You're...
Wait, is it Joe Dirt?
No.
No. Why did I get...
I mean, you got the J,
because Christopher
right?
Walken and Fart and Dog is what got me to... I'm caught up. But Michael Shannon's not in that movie.
I mean, I did forget that Michael Shannon was in it until I read about it a while ago.
Is this Zohan?
It's not Zohan.
Not Zohan. I don't know if any of those people listed are in that movie.
Do you want me to confirm it, Luke? What my thought is?
Yeah. Why don't you guys go ahead?
It's Kangaroo Jack.
Oh. Michael Shannon is in Kangaroo Jack?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He plays he's the like stepbrother of the main actor in it, who
that movie is in this same room as me on a shelf in DVD form.
That's something I never thought I would have to watch after we watched it on at a sleepover in like 2003. I thought I would never have to watch it again, but here we are.
I will give a quick plug. I love this movie. I think it's great. I haven't watched it in a while, so I thought I would pass on my bonkers comedy light. It's very eye-opening.
Well, thank you very much for that suggestion, and thank you for being on the episode.
Yeah, we hope you had fun.
Of course, yeah, I hope you had fun. Well, tune in next week where we will discuss Kangaroo Jack with a different guest. And for No Highway Option, I've been Connor.
I've been Luke.
And Kory, thank you again for being here. And just remember that these were all our opinions, and if you don't agree with us, too bad, because it's our way. No highway option.
Why'd you hang on the option? That was the closest yet until option.
You didn't, on my thing, you didn't start talking yet. I was trying to line up.
Good old Zoom.